Okay, we have restarted the stream. This is going to be a video for YouTube to talk about Diablo 4. I'm going to go over the classes. I found a really good video to go over the classes for Diablo 4, and I'll give full credit. We're going to watch this video, react to it, pause it where we need to. The Comeback Kids made a video that I watched partially yesterday called Diablo 4 The Ultimate Class Picking Guide, and I thought it was really good. And I may skip certain little parts of it, but you know, I'll be covering like the main things. So what do we have? 5 classes with Diablo 4, and I don't really like know, I didn't follow everything so like really too closely on it. So it's just now that we're coming up on Friday, we've got beta coming up. So now I'm becoming more interested to see, like, well, first thing is, like, what class do I want to play? What's the first class or classes that I want to play coming up? So, as you know, just doing searching, there's a whole bunch of videos, of course, of this stuff. But I thought this one was really good because he does really good analysis on this. So we'll watch, and then I'll watch, and we'll, he's got gameplay and everything, and pluses and minuses and all this kind of stuff. So we'll just let this go, and I'll pause where I need to pause to talk about stuff.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Sky, and I'm going to be looking at all 5 classes in depth for Diablo 4 and helping you answer a very simple question. Is it for you? We are going to be going over the strengths of every class and what makes them strong overall. All their class-specific mechanics, skills and abilities, as well as showing animations for some of them, their super powerful ultimate skills in action, ranking each class in categories like solo play, group compatibility, and PvP potential overall, and finally, wrapping it up with a quick summary of the class. Hopefully by doing so, we can steer you in the right direction to selecting a class that truly speaks to you. I hope you have your popcorn ready, because this is the ultimate class picking guide for Diablo 4. Today's video is sponsored by Bloodline Heroes of Light Amazing Starter Pack. Bloodline build your kingdom and collect and the summoning.
Alright, what are you going to do? So, luckily with pre-recorded content on YouTube, and plus they have chapters here, you just skip it. You know, whatever it is they're trying to push, luckily you could just skip it. So, whatever pal, you know, you made a great video. So whatever that other thing is, you know, I'm just going to skip it. But, you know, on Twitch, you can't skip ads for most people. But here at least we can do our pre-recorded content. Okay, so he's going to start with the Necromancer, and then we just go from there.
And control of various creatures for their purposes. The word Necromancer is actually an outsider's term for the Priest of Rathma, as per their ability to raise the dead. Necromancy is an ability possessed by the minions of the Burning Hells, but among mortals, it is only Necromancers that possess it. Their knowledge of the unknown allows them to face death without fear. Starting off with the strengths of the Necromancer, they have the most pet summoning in the entire game. They have incredible versatility in their build options, ranging from being a class that could be a melee-based class or a range-based.
Most pets, you can, a lot of, okay, right here, versatile, range, up close.
Class, or a support and a buffing class, as well as have.
Did he just say support and a buffing class? Well, you know, let's see, let's just continue on.
Having a bunch of pets out. They're a very durable class with all their blood abilities soaking up life. Now, the Necromancer's unique mechanic is the Book of the Dead.
Book of the Dead. No, we're not going to, like, I don't know how deep we're going to go on this, but I did just want to, like, freeze it at certain points. 3 customizable summons: Skeletal Warrior, Skeletal Mages, and the Golem. Each summon has one of 3 specializations. So each summon has a specialization that you can choose from. For example, Skeletal Warriors can be skirmishers, defenders, or reapers. So And then, okay, so skirmishers are standard warriors but have increased damage and reduced health. Defenders have bonus health. So probably they soak up, aggro or something. Reapers have slow attacks, deal damage AoE in front of them. And have special wind-up attack that deals high amount of damage. So, customizable summons. Each specialized minion in the army has unique upgrades available to them to change their overall playstyle. Sacrifice the ability to summon a specific unit in exchange for a personal permanent buff. So I mean, I guess you can summon or not and get a buff or something like that. Or all the possible summoned units while still having relevant options to enhance their build. So the Necromancer's unique class mechanic, the Book of the Dead, an all-new ability allowing them to dominate the battlefield with deeper customization of the undead army. So the Book of the Dead is your customizable thing. And then over here on the right, and guys, a lot of this stuff I'm looking at for the first time, so it's not like I went over this and planned this all out. Skeletal warriors, so he's showing skeletal warriors. Select an upgrade. Defenders. This was during development, so probably a lot of these screens are going to change, I would think. So skeletal warriors is a particular summon type, and then you've got upgrades for those. Now, I don't like, you know what I mean? And this looks very basic. How's it going, Moonraven? We just got started going over the classes. I found a really good video for this. Already give credit. I'll give credit again later on this video. So we're going to go over this. I restarted the stream for this so that I could upload this to YouTube later if anyone's interested to watch this on YouTube. We're doing full analysis of the classes. And then it's for me too. I mean, I want to decide what I want to play first. So it's going to be for me and for anyone else that's interested.
They have by far the most incredible unique mechanic.
Increase the amount of thorns that defender warriors inherit from you, 30 to 50%. Yeah, so let's just keep going.
In the game, and it's not even close.
Skeletal warriors, mages, golems. So this has got the most versatility is in the Necromancer.
The Book of the Dead allows you to customize each of your minion types individually to grant a wide variety of bonuses. Like you can have your skeletal warriors either deal more melee damage, be more tanky, or they could soak up some more damage, as well as even more effects. Each specialized minion in the army has unique upgrades available to them to change their overall playstyle. You can even sacrifice a specific unit in exchange for a personal permanent buff.
Exchange, so I think you would be getting rid of a unit, and then you get a buff in return if you want to get rid of that unit.
With this, players can mix and match having no minions at all to make you a supercharged monster, or
you can play this class with no minions. You have no minions.
or all the possible summoned units out at once while still having relevant options to enhance their build. The Necromancer has some unique skills that only they possess, and these are summoning skills, corruption skills, and macabre skills. Alright, now let's start off with the basic skills. The Necromancer's basic skills are going to be primarily used as a filler, as well as a way to generate essence, and these skills are Bone Splinters, Hemorrhage, Decompose, and Reap.
Bone Splinters, these are like basic skills. Hemorrhage, physical, generate essence. So essence, Reap, Decompose. So Bone Splinters, fire 3 Bone Splinters dealing damage each. And you gain essence. Hemorrhage. Burst an enemy's blood, dealing 25% damage. Decompose. Tear the flesh from an enemy, dealing 30% damage per second, and forming a usable corpse with the flesh for 2.5 seconds. There's like just this one class, what you're going to be able to do with it. What is this? Forming a usable corpse? Reap. Sweep the Sith. Hitting an enemy with Reap increases your damage reduction by 15%. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. You can raise the dead. Exactly. Thank you. I'm looking like this. I'm like, hey, you know, but with the flesh, a usable corpse. Now I don't know, like, what are the other details there are here, but this class, the variety of what you can do here. Thank you. I'll call you Worse.
You will more than likely select one of these depending on the type of Necromancer you're going to play, whether it's ranged, melee, a hybrid, whatever. Moving on to some of their core skills. The core skills cost essence, and like basic skills, you are most likely going to select the
basic skills, core skills,
corresponding one to your build type. There are 5 different types of core skills that you can use. Starting off with Blight, where you unleash Blight magic, dealing damage and leaving behind a Blight pool that deals damage over time. Next up, you have Sever, where you summon a Spectre to charge forward and return to you, dealing damage each way. After that, you have Bone Spear, where you summon a Bone Spear from the earth and toss it directly forward, piercing enemies and dealing damage in a line. After that, you have Blood Surge, where you draw blood from nearby enemies to deal a Blood Nova, dealing additional damage per amount of targets you've drawn.
Jesus Christ, man. Yeah, to me, Corp Explosion, I think they do have that, but it's, to me, Corpse Explosion, I don't ever want to use it. Right? I mean, I've used it so many times, like in Diablos or whatever. I want a bunch of other things. Look at all this. Look at all this stuff. I think they still have that. I think they still have. I just don't want to use it anymore. I want something different if I'm going to play this class. We're going to look at each class today, so I'm not just focusing on one class. We're going to look at each class, and we'll decide how deep we want to go based on this video this guy made. We'll give him credit again later on. I'll give him credit when I post the video and all that kind of stuff. Core skills. So base skills, core skills, Blight, unleash concentrated Blight that deals 30% damage and leaves behind a defiled area, so DOT. This class is going to be crazy. And I think mastering, I'm thinking also about mastering the class. You know, to master a class based on what you want to do, you know, we want that to take time. Sever, a specter of you charges forward and attacks, and then returns to you and attacks again. Bone Spear, conjure a Bone Spear from the ground. It's just one spear. Then Blood Surge. Draw blood from enemies, dealing 20% damage. Expel a Blood Nova, dealing 50% damage. Damage is increased by 10 per enemy drained up to 50%. He's going into the next one now.
And lastly, you have Blood Lance, where you throw a Blood Lance that deals damage per second and can pierce enemies and stays there for 4 seconds.
Okay, base skills, core skills. Let's just continue on here.
You start to notice that there is a trend of damage selection as you play the Necromancer, whether it be more focused on melee bruiser type of damage or ranged caster type combat. Now moving on to some macabre skills, starting off with Bone Prison, where you summon a circular bone prison around an enemy for 6 seconds, but it can be destroyed. After that, you have Blood Mist, which I think is one of the most powerful cooldowns in the game, where you become immune for 3 seconds, turning into a Blood Mist, healing for the damage you deal to nearby enemies every second. And lastly, you have Corpse Explosion, where you detonate.
There it is. You knew it had to be there. So, I mean, there's all these different skills. I don't think you have access to all of them, but I don't, you know what I mean? But the different skills are classified.
Hey now.
You know, you got classifications, I guess, maybe. Base, core, macabre, but I mean, you can't have access to all of them, right? I mean, you probably can only have a certain set, you know, and then you build into those. But there's your corpse explosion. I'm never touching this thing. I'm never touching this again.
A dead corpse dealing damage to enemies nearby. All right, moving on. Now we have corruption skills, which is all about reducing the enemy's damage.
Corruption skills, which is all about reducing the enemy's damage. That's a debuff, no? And anyone watching on YouTube, I am streaming live, so I am interacting with my community, okay? Diablo's had 3, yeah, and I think Diablo 4, we're gonna see, and we have sound alerts too. We're gonna see. I think we're gonna see some stuff coming over from Diablo 3. You know, it's not gonna change. Yeah, you're gonna see the same things.
Honestly, just bringing you overall more utility for your group. The skills that we know of so far are Decrypify, where you curse the targeted area, slowing enemies greatly and reducing their damage. And lastly, you have the Iron Maiden, where you curse the targeted area, and enemies in the area deal reduced damage by each attack they actually make.
Okay, this looks like the Iron Maiden right here, possibly. Let's look at this again. Corruption skills. Curse the target area. Enemies affected by this are slowed and deal 25% less damage. So debuff, that 10 seconds, that's not bad. Iron Maiden. Curse the target areas. Enemies affected by Iron Maiden take 10% damage each time. What? Take 10% damage each time they deal direct damage? What? They're going to take damage when they deal damage? Okay, so, but if you could have both of these out at the same time, we're looking, one of the things I'm looking for is I want to play a class that I could play solo, but also play in groups, for group support. So, this would be something for, you know, potentially for group support. 25% less damage for 10 seconds is pretty big on the Decryptify, or whatever the hell that is, you know.
Up to a certain percentage. Okay, now next up we have the Necromancer summoning skills. Now,
Necromancer.
this doesn't allow you to summon actually more monsters to have out permanently, but it's just temporary little creatures that you can have out to assist you in battle. Starting off with the Bone Spirits, where...
Okay, so what did he just say? Damage reflect, I guess, yeah. The area reflects back in an Iron Maiden. So you have like your main summons, and then you've got little other summoning skills for other stuff.
you consume all of your essence to send out a bone spirit that deals massive damage, and it is increased depending on how much essence you actually spent. After that, we have corpse tendrils, where you summon tendrils from a nearby corpse, pulling enemies toward the corpse and stunning them for 3 seconds, dealing damage. And lastly, we have the Necromancer's ultimate skills, which is everyone's favorite, and these are extremely powerful, starting off with the Army of the Dead, where you summon undead from the earth, and when they emerge, they rush a nearby enemy, exploding for massive area of effect damage. After that, you have Bone Storm, where you summon a Bone Storm around yourself, dealing massive damage to enemies around you per second for 10 seconds. And lastly, you have Blood Wave, where you summon a tidal wave of blood that travels forward, dealing immense damage. I gotta say, ladies and gentlemen, the Necromancer, in my opinion, has close to the most versatile skill kit in the entire game. I will say, mixing in the customization from the Book of the...
There's a lot going on here with this guy. So I think you could spend probably a very long time working on this character, you know, to get where it is you want to be, I would think. So many, Bill, yeah, Army of the Dead, yeah.
Dead, with all these builds and being able to either go a hybrid or pure caster, pure pet class, you could be a bruiser, you could be tanky. It's going to have theory crafters go absolutely nuts.
Yeah.
It's going to be incredible. Don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, we go over this class with incredible depth in our live stream features. So if you're interested, don't forget to check these out. The Necromancer is absolutely unstoppable when...
Okay, this is the great thing that they did in this video. At the end of each class, they kind of wrap it up with this rating system. And I thought this was a good idea. Solo potential, defensives, group compatibility, build variety, PvP. What is that? I can't finish it. PvP? And then difficulty. Why would they only give it a difficulty of 1 of 5? That's interesting.
When it comes to a solo playing aspect with all the pets you can summon, as well as having incredible self-healing and AoE damage.
Solo potential.
The defensives are amongst the best in the game, with almost always being damage mitigation capped, and having Blood Mist to completely go immune for a while if you're a bruiser. If you're a caster, you have all your pets to soak up your damage as well. They have access to tons of abilities to make enemies vulnerable, slow them down, and even keep them in place with Bone Prison to set up some devastating combos with your teammates. With builds consisting of pet summoning, bruiser builds, full-on tank, full caster, and even a nasty debuffer, this class truly has the potential to be whatever it wants. They do lack severe mobility, gap closers, distance creators, general on-demand burst, and rely heavily on their pets to deal damage if that's the build you go. All these issues lead us to believe that they may be on the weaker side in PvP. To wrap it up, ladies and gentlemen, if you love a class with huge versatility and incredible class fantasy, I mean, there would be no better option at this point than the Necromancer. This class is honestly insane with the amount of customization options. A Necromancer deals damage in a variety of ways, including physical and shadow damage. You can build your Necromancer to either focus more on a pet-based class, or you can sacrifice them completely to make you super powerful on your own. You have very strong area of effect abilities like Blood Wave and Corpse Explosion. You could also build a Necromancer in a Death Knight sort of way, where you're very, very tanky and you leech tons of life from your enemies nearby. And lastly, this class has by far some of the most epic animations in the game, with all the blood and bones you're tossing out, as well as having an army of the undead following you around. Now listen, now you know just about everything that we have been shown so far about the Necromancer.
See this, what is this, a golem here? And then all these skeletons around you. Yeah, I mean, I think the Necro is going to be a very, very popular. Very popular.
And there's really only one question left to answer. Is it for you? Let us know in the comment section below, as we would love to talk with you all. The Barbarian is a brutal, physical warrior that roams around the battlefield, constantly dishing out heavy damage and wielding up to 4 powerful weapons at the same time.
What? What do you mean wielding up to 4 powerful weapons at the same time? What does that even mean?
The Barbarian uses intimidating war cries and unleashes ground-shaking slams to send approaching enemy demons running. Starting things off with the strengths of the Barbarian. They deal absurd damage, especially when they are buffed and funneled with skills from their teammates as well as their own passives. They have access to the Berserker buff, which gives them 25% increased damage, as well as a 30% increase to movement speed. They are very mobile with all their leaps and passive abilities to fly around the battlefield. And lastly, they are very tanky with their wide variety of shouts and passives. The Barbarian's unique class mechanic is the Arsenal system.
The Arsenal system. Use different weapons. That's, I don't know. Do you swap between the weapons? I don't know. Okay, so the Barbarian, everyone knows the Barbarian. So the Barbarian, he's going to talk now about this thing called the Arsenal system. The Arsenal system lets Barbarians use 4 different weapons simultaneously to fully utilize their skill toolkit based on different weapon requirements. These are their 4 weapon slots: 2-hand bludgeoning weapon, 2-hand slashing weapon, main hand and offhand. Depending on this requirement, the Barbarian will use the correct weapon for a certain skill. So, you've got 4 weapons, and then the appropriate weapon will be used based on the skill. I guess that's like a bludgeoning weapon will be used probably for that, like a smashdown or something. I don't know. Slash for a slash, main hand for a primary attack, offhand for something. Expertise. Expertise is also part of the Arsenal system, which grants bonus effects based on your experience with each weapon type. There is a technique slot attached to this system, but it was not available during the preview build. Okay, fine. You don't need to be this guy's video. You don't have to have everything. We don't want to know everything. You know, I don't want to know everything. I just want to know enough, you know. Expertise grants bonuses based on your experience with each weapon type. What do you mean by that? So when you use a weapon type, it gains experience? Something like that? I don't know. Yeah, this is going to be interesting, and we'll have a chance to try it out in a couple days.
Arsenal system opens up to the Barbarian at level 5, and it allows them to assign a specific equipped weapon for every attack skill and grants additional bonuses. Each weapon starts at level 1 and can be leveled up to level 10 through battle and scale linearly. Here's the complete list of all powers and bonuses for them.
I'm not going to read all this. Did he just say weapons are leveled up separately? Did he just say that? Up to rank 10? That's the expertise system then. That's the expertise system. Leveling up your different... you leveling up your weapons, or are you leveling up your weapon slot? You know. Let's just take one example. A two-handed axe at rank 10 would be 15% increased damage to vulnerable enemies. And additional bonus, increased critical strike chance against vulnerable enemies. For the rank up, I guess. Polearm. Two-handed sword. So I guess we're going to be... I guess it's maybe done on use. You get expertise experience on use for each slot, I would think, not for the weapon itself. Yeah, it's going to be great.
So it's really just going to be a natural progression as you pick up new weapons and battle monsters.
Are you leveling weapons, or are you leveling the slot? I don't know. Maybe you're leveling the weapon. I don't know.
You'll be gaining experience. A massive bonus of the Arsenal system is that it allows you to have equipped 2 different two-handed weapons and 2 different one-handed weapons, with affixes applying from all of them. The Barbarian's basic skills are going to be used to primarily generate fury, which then they dump into more powerful abilities. Which ability you're allowed to use is determined based on the weapon type you have out currently. These basic...
Which ability you can use will depend upon which weapon you have out currently. What do you mean, which weapon? Do you swap? Are you swapping between weapons? I think you're swapping between weapons.
Skills are going to be Bash, Flay, Frenzy, and Lunging Strike. Moving on to some Fury skills, they cost Fury, and like basic skills, give off a different effect based on the weapon type you have out currently. There are 5 different types of Fury skills that you can use, and these are Rend, which...
So you have Rend, but is it going to behave differently based on which weapon you have out currently? Is that what I'm reading into this?
Is a cleave that deals initial damage and additional damage over time. Hammer of the Ancients, which slams your hammer in a concentrated area, dealing damage. You have Double Swing, which is another melee cleave ability, striking twice. You have Upheaval, which is a ground slam that sends debris forward in an arc in front of you. And lastly, you have everyone's fan favorite, Whirlwind. Costs 5 Fury per second, but makes you spin and rapidly attacks all enemies around you per second. You can see that each ability gives a wide variety of effects, some focusing on AoE damage, some focusing on cleave, and even some focusing on a tight area damage. Barbarian's defensive skills are very powerful, but they all do have a long cooldown, so timing is crucial to the success of their use. Their 4 defensive abilities are Rallying Cry, Round Stomp, Undying Rage, and Challenging Shout.
You could see some things, you know, Ground Stomp, Challenging Shout. So that's a taunt. Iron Skin, Rallying Cry, granting. Here's, I mean, it looks like just about every class probably has some group buffs that come along with it. Maybe not every class, but definitely the Barbarian. Rallying Cry, before granting allies 30% movement speed, 50% increased resource generation for 6 seconds. And then, of course, Taunt would be a, like a tanking skill.
The Barbarian's defensive skills include reducing damage, increasing movement speed, and even stunning enemies. This set of abilities can massively change your style in a group to bring more survivability to yourself, or even bring great utility for your party through buffs or AoE control. Now, going on to their brawling skills, they don't actually involve weapons, but more involve mobility, or even the opportunity to grab an additional shout for your team. Their 4 brawling abilities are going to be Kick, where you kick an enemy forward, allowing them to collide with other enemies behind them. You have War Cry, which is a nice little damage buff, and the effect increases the more enemies you have around you. Then you have Leap, where you leap into the air at a certain targeted area, and Charge.
War Cry. You and nearby allies deal 15% increased damage for 8 seconds. So there's a group thing there. Yeah, Iron Skin looked familiar. Leap we know about. Charge. Kick. And
the effect increases the more enemies you have around you.
Oh.
Then you have Leap, where you leap into the air at a certain targeted area, and Charge. Weapon mastery skills heavily involve the weapon the Barbarian is using. These weapon mastery skills are very high damage skills. The weapon mastery skills that we know of so far are Primal Axe, which throws your weapon with a chain attached to it and pulls enemies toward you. Next up, you have Rupture, where you skewer enemies in a line, inflicting bleeding damage over 3 seconds. And if the enemy dies while they're bleeding, the cooldown is reset. And finally, you have Death Blow, an attempt at a killing strike dealing damage to enemies in front of you. And if this kills an enemy, the cooldown is reset as well. And lastly, we have everyone's favorite, the ultimate skills. These are extremely powerful, and because of that, they have very long cooldowns to keep them from being abused. First up, you have Wrath of the Berserker, which makes you go berserk, giving you a massive buff overall. After that, you have Call the Ancients to aid you in battle, where you summon Ghost of the Past to help aid you in battle and fight enemies nearby. And lastly, you have Iron Maelstrom, which whirls your weapon around in a chain, dealing massive damage to enemies around you. Don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, we go over this class with incredible depth in our live stream deep dive. When it comes to solo play, you do have some great potential with the...
Kick, the Enviro abilities. Iron Skin was Diablo 2 passive. The skills are coming from the past. Is that what you guys are talking about? Yeah, so it's, you can see there the ultimates and stuff like that. What I like about this is that there's going to be, so far we've looked at the Necromancer and now the Barb. I mean, there's just going to be a lot, especially for me. I didn't play Diablo 2. There's going to be a lot to learn and try out. Solo potential, defensives. Look at the group compatibility. So it looked like buffs, tanking. So I think I'm beginning to think that maybe now I don't know if they're going to come out with a paladin in the future, or monk, and what they're going to do with those. Maybe they don't want to overdo support to where you would have, did I say paladin? Crusader? Is it a crusader? Maybe they don't want a pure, I don't know if they want a pure support. I'm not sure if they want to add a pure support at some point or not. I don't know. So, but we have what we have. And that's going to be, you're going to have a character that's not, there are no pure supports that's coming with the game at launch. That's for sure.
Barbarian overall, but it does require you to be talented into that specifically. In terms of raw activatable defensives, they do have Iron Skin, which is one of the strongest in the game, but it requires you to spec into that, taking up some valuable options.
Solo potential, Necromancer, they gave 5 of 5. 3 of 5 on the barb. 3 of 5 on the barb. So I find that's interesting. That's interesting.
They do make up for it though with high movement speed and passive damage mitigation overall. Where the Barbarian truly earns its money is through group play. Constant 4-second stuns, the best group buffs for your allies with shouts in the game, and being a great class to soak up immense amount of damage makes them great in any team comp. When it comes to build variety, you generally only have a few playstyles, but all in all, there is nothing drastically different when it comes to each build's playstyle. In PvP, the Barbarian is 100% going to be a powerhouse and a wrecking ball. No one can go toe-to-toe with this class if you're spec'd properly. To wrap it up,
no one can go toe-to-toe with this class in PvP if you're spec'd properly.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you love being in the thick of it and swinging around massive weapons dealing nasty amounts of damage, it's no doubt that this class is going to be your main. Barbarians are powerful, mobile, and tanky, but fight alone and have to be in close quarters and struggle with resource generation early on. They deal physical damage with melee attacks, and Fury is their primary resource, and it also degenerates slowly and has to be earned in battle to unleash powerful attacks. With 4 weapons equipped at the same time, they have advantages from weapon swaps and additional legendary powers. Core skills deal massive damage at the cost of significant amount of Fury, and Barbarians bring incredible utility from their shouts, making them a strong choice for every group. The Arsenal system is the unique Barbarian class mechanic in Diablo 4, and it allows them to use a specific weapon for every attack skill that grants different.
I gotta look at that again. How the Arsenal system or whatever that is. You know. Well, which part did he say? It's famous. I'm not sure which one you're referring to. Okay.
Bonuses. Now listen, now you know just about everything that we have been shown so far about the Barbarian. And there's really only one question left to answer. Is it for you? Let us know in the comment section below, as we would love to chat with you all.
Is it for you?
Sorcerers shape the...
Sorcerers next. Oh, ranking classes. Yeah. It's going to be, it's tough. Everything, when I see a video like this, I just look at it as this is their opinion. This is their opinion. So I take it for what it's worth, I don't put like, everything's going to have to be self-discovery for everyone. I just look at it as like, this is their opinion and hey, thanks for making the video kind of thing. Beta. Yeah, it's to me, YouTubers have got a YouTube, These guys all want to make a living off this stuff. The YouTubers got a YouTube. So they got, you're going to get a lot of projection.
Elements into whatever form is necessary to ensure victory.
Sorcerer, guys. Sorcerer.
From hurling bolts of lightning to impaling foes upon jagged spikes of ice, and even raining down flaming meteors from the sky. They are exceptionally good at fighting from a distance and can adapt to almost any situation using different elements. Starting off with the strengths of the Sorcerer. The Sorcerer deals massive AoE damage that is just simply unmatched. They have some of the highest amount of control in the entire game, excellent mobility with evade, teleport, and other legendary powers and passives, and they're also an excellent farming class overall. The Sorcerer's unique mechanic is enchantment slot.
The enchantment system. Now, I'm sure you're watching some of the footage, gameplay footage. I assume they've all been released from any kind of NDA so they could show this stuff. That looks like real alpha footage or whatever it is they were doing, the testers. I'm not sure. But it's nice to see some gameplay footage there. It is a darker game for sure. Everything looks kind of dark. So, I mean, I guess that was the intent. Skills, well, yeah, to me it's like, I'm not gonna like worry too much about overall rankings and stuff. It's their opinion. The Sorcerer's unique class mechanic is the enchantment system. You can place skills into 2 locations. An active skill slot and an enchantment slot. Skills placed in the enchantment slot can no longer be used as an active skill, but the character gains a secondary bonus power instead. Secondary powers are passive effects. Every 15 seconds, a blizzard forms over you. So there are 2 enchantment slots in total. So you could take a skill and move it to another slot, and it becomes a passive instead of you actively using it because you're like, well, I don't want to use it. I want to use these other skills. I'll put these in enchantment slots. Then I get this passive benefit out of it, and I don't have to actually use them actively, you know. So what this is telling me, if you look so far, we're only just barely into the 3rd class. It's telling me that they really tried to make a variety. You know, whereas some games, here's your classes, everyone has basically the same systems they pull from. Look at the variety in how these classes are set up. The Barbarian with all these with 4 weapon things. Now the Sorc with the enchantment system. You look at the Necromancer with all the variety there. I think what they wanted to do was say it where, you know, we don't want to give you 4 classes and then everyone kind of pulls from the same kind of systems to upgrade them. So they're really making these characters, these classes, so unique within themselves. And I'm finding this to be really interesting so far, going over this.
They allow you to take skills not currently on your action bar and use them for passive effects to bolster and deepen your build. A couple examples of this are Ice Armor. Whenever you're struck, there is a 5% chance to apply Ice Armor to yourself. And even Meteor. Every time an enemy takes burning damage, there's a 3% chance a meteor falls on them. These actually could be incredibly powerful and change up your build greatly depending on what you're looking for your sorcerer specifically. The sorcerer basic skills are going to be selected based on the damage type you are going to be focusing on more. These basic skills are Frostbolt, Firebolt, Arc Lash, and Spark. Moving on to some core skills. Core skills cost mana, and like basic skills, give off a different effect based on the type of elemental school you're going to be focusing on.
Based on the type of elemental school you're going to be focusing on. Well, of course.
There are 6 different types of core skills that you can use, and these are Ice Shards, where you launch 5 shards that deal 25% damage each. Frozen Orb, where you unleash an orb forward, dealing damage and exploding. You have Fireball, where you hurl an exploding ball of fire for heavy AoE damage. Incinerate, where you channel a beam of fire, damage increasing every second the enemy is in it. Charged Bolts, where you release 5 bolts of lightning that course along the ground, damaging enemies. And lastly, Chain Lightning, where you unleash a stream of lightning that deals 42% damage and chains between nearby enemies. Moving on to...
Yeah, okay, so, I mean, some of those skills look pretty standard to me. So, animations, yeah, to me, animations are very important in a game like this. So, well, this Friday when we start playing, we definitely want to look at those things. Say, does this have, visually, how does it look visually? You know, the attacks and all of that kind of stuff.
Some defensive skills. They have Ice Armor, where ice forms around you for 6 seconds, absorbing
pretty standard stuff here, I'm seeing.
Frost Nova, where you freeze enemies around you for 2 seconds. Flame Shield, where you engulf yourself in flames for 2 seconds, burning nearby enemies per second. And lastly, a fan favorite, Teleport, where you can constantly blink around the battlefield. Moving on to Conjuration skills, which is one of the sorcerer's unique skills, you have Ice Blades, where you summon a blade of ice that damages nearby enemies and makes them vulnerable as well. You have Summon Hydra, where you summon a 3-headed Hydra and each head spits fire at a nearby enemy. And lastly, Lightning Spear, where you conjure a crackling spear of lightning that seeks out enemies. Moving on to Sorcerer's Mastery skills, there are going to be some nice hard-hitting AoE abilities that help you control the battlefield in certain areas and situations. These skills are Blizzard, where you summon a frigid blizzard that deals damage and continuously chills enemies in an area over 6 seconds. You have Meteor, where you summon a meteor that strikes the target location, dealing massive damage and burning the ground. Next up, you have Firewall, which creates a wall of flames that burns enemies for severe damage over 8 seconds. And lastly, you have Ball of Lightning, where you conjure a ball of lightning that slowly moves forward, continually zapping enemies. And lastly, we have the Sorcerer's ultimate skills, and these are extremely powerful. Starting off, you have Deep Freeze, where you encase yourself in a block of ice, becoming immune for 4 seconds and continually chilling enemies. When the Deep Freeze ends, frozen enemies shatter for massive damage. Next up, you have Inferno, where you ignite a roaring inferno that pulses in and out of the target area, burning enemies for massive damage over 8 seconds, and then it explodes, dealing even more damage to enemies on the outer edge. And lastly, you have Unstable Currents. Lightning surges within you for 10 seconds, and whenever you cast a lightning skill, another random non-basic lightning skill is casted as well. I gotta say, the Sorcerer, in my opinion, has the most incredible looking animations in the game, and I'm super excited to get my hands on this class and see what I can do with it. Don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, we go over this class with incredible depth in our live, so don't forget to check these out. If played properly, the Sorcerer can be the most dangerous.
So the Sorc. Solo potential 4-5, according to them. Defensive, I would say, yeah, a little bit lower. Group compatibility 3-5. Build variety 5-5. PvP potential. Wizards always do good in PvP, right? Well, they're always like used in PvP. Difficulty 4-5. So they're saying it's pretty difficult class to make. Yeah, and just by the way, the now that we're doing this today, today we're just going to look at the classes, and I'm having such a good time that you know, I wish I would have just added on today's stream to look at some of the other systems that are in the game. But we're just talking about classes today. Maybe I'll stream tomorrow and find some great videos, and we'll go over some of the other systems that are in the game. Maybe, you know, if I could find some good videos, maybe from the same person, that goes over some of the other systems in the game, and we'll go over that, you know, potentially tomorrow. Because I'm really having a good time looking at this right now.
Class in the game in terms of raw AoE damage and general gameplay potential. They have some of the strongest defensive abilities in the game, but they do have very high cooldowns, so they require a ton of skill to pull off properly. In terms of group compatibility, you have some incredible setup DPS potential with all your AoE, but other than the Frost spec, you don't bring much utility or setups of your own with Fire or Lightning. When it comes to build variety, you have limitless possibilities with this class overall. Shotgun lightning builds, battle mage, fire, frost, lightning specs, a hybrid mix of everything. You never have enough build potential with this class. Everyone knows that mages and sorcerers usually dominate in games when it comes to PvP, and it will for sure be the same case in Diablo 4. Incredible on-demand defensives, great mobility with teleport, some of the highest burst damage in the game, crowd control, AoE damage. This class has it all to be a PvP powerhouse. To wrap it up, ladies and gentlemen, if you love massive AoE damage, super flashy animations, with a class that's very high skill cap, there's no doubt the Sorcerer can easily be your main. The Sorcerer deals cold, lightning, and fire damage with ranged attacks. Mana is their primary resource, and it is easy to deplete, so strategic use of their skills to make sure you get the most out of it is definitely critical. Enchantment slots are the unique Sorcerer class mechanic in Diablo 4, and it gives every skill a unique passive effect to further deepen your build. And lastly, the Sorcerer is fun to play and embodies the raw elemental magic you come to expect from the class. Now listen, ladies and gentlemen, now you know just about everything that has been shown to you so far about the Sorcerer. And there's really only one question left to answer.
Is it for you?
Is it for you? Let us know in the comment section below, as we would love to talk with you all. The Rogue is an...
Now, they're going to talk about the Rogue next, which is my least played class in any video game. Would be any like bow-based class, rogues. I usually do not, and it's not that I don't think they're good. It's just I'm usually not good at them. So I usually don't play these kind of classes. So let's see what they've got.
Adaptable, agile warrior who can specialize in ranged or close quarter combat. They can best any foe with their imbued weapons, perform powerful combo attacks, and can augment their arsenal with deadly poisons and shadow magic to slay hordes of demons. Shadow Arts allows them to move freely between enemy lines, and their augmented weapons and combos can deal with all types of enemies. Starting things off with the strengths of the Rogue. They deal very high damage. The only thing slowing them down is actually themselves with energy regeneration, stopping them from using hard-hitting abilities. They're very mobile with all their movement abilities being on very short cooldowns, and they have a ton of passives to increase their base movement speed as well. Rogue is also a very versatile class, having tons of crowd control with freezes and stuns, as well as their smoke grenade skill, and they can combine various attacks for melee and range damage. The Rogue has the option to choose...
Yeah, the Rogue... I mean, we know. I mean, wasn't it in Neverwinter where was it the Rogue in Neverwinter or something where, you know, you go or was that the Hunter Ranger? If you can go pure melee, you know, there might be like, I don't know. I don't really know. I don't even know how it's going to go. But Moonraven says in D4, the Rogue will be possible to build an assassin close combat character. Okay, so he's going to talk about now this next thing, the unique mechanic. So the unique mechanic for the Rogue is the class specialization system. This lets you choose 1 out of 3 active specializations. And I think Moonraven is kind of leading, like, that's what he's probably talking about, maybe, I don't know. To empower your character. Combo points, inner sight, and preparation. I don't know what this is, actually. Your basic combo points. Your basic skills now generate combo points. Certain skills consume combo points. Okay, so yeah, this is kind of a, you know, generate consumption kind of thing. Inner sight. Attack marked enemies to fill up your inner sight. When it's full, gain unlimited energy for 4 seconds. Something called preparation, which wasn't available yet.
1 out of 3 specialization. These can be swapped freely at any time and open up further build customization options. 3 options are combo points. Your basic skills now generate combo points. Certain skills consume the combo points for additional effects like increased movement speed and damage percent. The next one is inner sight. You attack marked enemies to fill up your inner sight gauge, and when it's full, gain unlimited energy for 4 seconds. One of your enemies will be marked randomly by a purple eye icon, and larger hits proceed to fill the bar faster. After it procs, you're instantly shot up to full energy, which can be incredibly powerful in the late game as your character gets stronger.
Welcome
and the last
to
one is preparation. Now, we haven't even gotten the full information about this yet, but if we
Thanks for
have
the follow,
anything to go
Nicholas.
from the in-game achievement, which is Rogue Preparation, use your ultimate 3 times in 60 seconds as a Rogue, it's more than likely that this might revolve around cooldown resetting of your ultimate ability. Rogue's basic skills are used to generate the resource used to activate their shadow skills. Which ability you are allowed to use is determined based on which weapon type you have currently out. These basic skills are Puncture, Heartseeker, Forceful Arrow, Invigorating Strike, and Blade Shift. Moving on to core skills, they cost energy and, like basic skills, give off a different effect based on the weapon type you have out. There are 5 different types of core skills that you can use. The first one is Barrage, where you unleash a barrage of 5 arrows that expand outwards, dealing damage with each arrow hit. Rapid Fire, which rapidly shoots 5 arrows. Piercing Arrow, which fires an arrow and pierces all enemies in front of you in a line. Flurry, which you unleash a flurry of stabs and slashes in front of you with your blades. Twisting Blades, which impale an enemy with your blades and increase the damage they take while impaled. You start to notice that there is a trend of hybrid type damage, whether it be from melee or ranged as you play a rogue. And it gets even crazier as you go further on down the line. Rogues get access to mobile agility skills, but they do have cooldowns, so timing is definitely crucial to the success of their use. These abilities are Shadow Step, where you quickly move through the shadows, stabbing your victim from behind and gaining movement.
Wow.
Next up, you have Dash, where you dash forward and slash enemies for 47% damage. And lastly, you have Caltrap, where you leap backward and throw caltrops on the ground, slowing enemies that walk through them. Moving on to our next set of skills, Subterfuge skills are the rogue's version of more defensive abilities. The skills we know of so far are Concealment, where you vanish from sight immediately and you gain stealth for 4 seconds. Dark Shroud, where you surround yourself with up to 5 protected shadows, gaining 8% damage reduction per active shadow. Next up, you have Smoke Grenade, where you throw a smoking concoction at enemies that dazes them for 4 seconds. And finally, Poison Trap, where you place a trap that when it activates, it applies 435% poison damage over 9 seconds to all enemies in the area. Moving on to our next set of skills is the Imbuement skills. Rogues' Imbuement skills are unique to them and amplify your next 2 imbuable skills to have additional effects attached to them depending on the imbuement type you have active. There are 3 different imbuement types, which are Shadow Imbuement, which your next 2 imbuable skills deal shadow damage and infect enemies so they explode up to 40% damage on death. Cold Imbuement, where your next 2 imbuable skills deal cold damage and chill enemies for up to 50%. And lastly, Poison Imbuement. Your next 2 imbuable skills deal poison damage and apply up to 105% poisoning damage over 5 seconds. And lastly, everyone's favorite, we have the ultimate skills. These are extremely powerful, starting off with Rain of Arrows, which makes arrows rain down over a large area 2 times, and each wave deals a massive damage. Next up, you have Death Trap, where you place a trap that arms after 1.25 seconds, and it activates when an enemy moves within range, dealing massive damage to enemies in the area. And lastly, you have Shadow Clone, which you summon a clone where your shadow mimics all of your actions for 15 seconds, dealing reduced damage though. Don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, we go over this class with incredible depth in our live stream deep dive, as well as it having its own in-depth personalized videos displaying additional features. So if you're interested, don't forget to check these out. Rogue is going to be a very setup-based class.
Let's go over these. Yeah, Rogue is will be your second class. I don't know if I'll be playing Rogue. I may try it out during the beta, but I usually don't play Rogues. That sounds great. I'd like to hear what you guys think on the Rogue. I'll be streaming, but, you know, I don't do, like, marathon streams as far as, like, I don't know. But we'll be streaming as much as we can this weekend. I want to make some videos, too. You notice this guy here. He was talking about check out our live stream. I think he's talking about live streaming on YouTube. There are people that it's just YouTube. I find that interesting. Solo potential 2.5. That's okay. Defensive 2.5. Group compatibility 2.5. Build variety 4.5. Great for a PvP, which they always are. Difficulty 5.5. Well, what the hell is this? Like, is this class only good for PvP? Like, what the hell is this? Yeah, I think this class is going to be very tough. Difficulty 5.5. This is going to be, like, you know, I remember rogues, it's like in PvP, they're the ones that, you know, we hated rogues. We just hated rogues in PvP, you know. They just sneak up on you and one-shot you. Yeah, and so Worse here in chat's going to play rogue. But just compare the classes so far between each other and how unique or different they are, and then even different within themselves of what you can do. So I don't know. Solo potential 2, defensive 2, group 2. So look at where they shine. I mean, PvP. Now, I don't know what kind of PvP modes are going to be in this game. Today's stream, today's video and stream, we're only talking about classes today. So we'll probably come back tomorrow. We're not done today. We'll probably come back tomorrow with, if I find some good videos on this stuff and the gameplay and other things and progression systems and whatever else. I don't know if they had PvP available or not. And plus I want to see how the world bosses work. So if we have more stuff that we can find, we'll have another stream dedicated to that tomorrow. As I'm finding this really helpful for me, and I hope you find it helpful for you. Let's see what he has to say.
Class in terms of PvE, especially if you go a melee rogue build. On top of being squishy, they could definitely struggle on their own. They do lack defensives overall, but they do make up for it with their incredible mobility to fly around the battlefield. When it comes to group compatibility, the rogue doesn't bring buffs to party members, but can be a class with absolutely disgusting group setup burst and enemy damage reduction, as well as having frost imbuement assisting for your team as well, slowing enemies down or freezing them. The rogue has some great build variety with multiple imbuement types, ranged and melee builds, as well as the potential to even go a hybrid spec. The rogue class is going to be infamous for being an absolute terror in PvP. You have vanishes, the highest amount of mobility in the game, crowd controls, very strong burst, and ability reset potential. It's everything you need in a toolkit for a class to be king in PvP combat. To wrap it up, ladies and gentlemen, if you love being in and out of combat, dashing in fast and quick, with a class that has a high skill cap and crazy versatility, it's no doubt that this class is going to be your main choice. Rogues are agile fighters based mostly on dealing physical damage with melee and ranged attack. In addition, they also have access to cold, shadow, and poison effect. Positioning and quick decision making play a huge role in rogue combat, and they have many tools for build customization to really fit your preferred playstyle. Energy is their primary resource, and it recovers slowly on its own, but can be refilled with multiple various effects. Now you know just about everything that we have been shown so far about the rogue. There's really only one question left to answer.
Is it for you?
Is it for you? Let us...
Is it for you?
Diablo 4's open beta and eventual launch is right around the corner, and that means making one of the most challenging decisions in any RPG. Which class to play. My name is Kodiak.
Welcome to the channel, ladies and gentlemen.
What
my
just
name is
happened
Sky,
to
and I'm
my...
going to be looking at all 5 classes. It recovers slowly on its own, but can be refilled with multiple various effects.
I don't want to watch someone else's video on this.
Now you know just about everything that we have been shown so far about the rogue. There's really only one question left to answer, though. Is it for you? Let us know in the comment section below, as we would love to chat with you all. Druids are
Okay. They saved the best for last. The Druid. I have a feeling... Yeah, I know. I skipped to another video because I was trying to click on this thing. I have a feeling that this may be the class I play. My first class would be the Druid. I just have a feeling. I just have a feeling. This may be my guy. Let's watch this.
Savage shapeshifters who fluidly transform between werewolf, werebear, and human form to unleash a cataclysm of nature's fury on the forces of the burning hell. They also command the power of the earth, wind, and storm, unleashing nature's wrath to devastating effect. Starting things off with the strengths of the Druid. The Druid deals a variety of damage, whether it be from melee or ranged combat. They're incredibly versatile in their build options. Very strong area of effect damage. Has multiple roars for buffs and debuffs.
Buffs and debuffs? AoE damage?
Their party as well. The Druid's unique class mechanic is spirit animals.
Okay, let's read over this real quick. What? This class mechanic will not be available in open beta, even though the Druid will be playable by then. Open beta will limit players to the Act 1 zone, and this mechanic only becomes available once Druids can access another zone. Yeah, Druid's your go-to, Galorix? Yeah, I think you've tried, so you've played, right? I have not played this game, and initially I'm just trying to figure out what class I wanted to start. And I thought today would be a good opportunity to go over I found a really good video. I think it's a pretty good video. Kind of touching on all the classes. Yeah, I think I'll probably try every classes except the Rogue. I just don't think a Rogue is going to be right for me. End game is good. Yeah, Sorc and Druid. Okay, great. So this mechanic won't be available for us to play. And then around level 15, they'll gradually unlock the ability to interact with 4 different spirit animals. These spirit animals will be able to receive boons that Druids can acquire through defeating mobs and other activities. These boons unlock bonus player bonuses that the Druid can then choose to receive by forming a bond with that spirit animal. Are you telling me this won't be available during beta? This mechanic? How dare you? At first, Druids will only be able to bond with one spirit animal. I can't wait to do this. I can't wait to do this. Yeah. At a time, and only receive that animal's buffs. Though they will only be able to swap out these they will be able to swap out these at will. However, once Druids have unlocked all 4 spirit animals, they will get 2 significant advantages. This is when you've unlocked all 4. Druids can bond with a 5th animal with different buffs. Druids will receive 2 bonuses. Do you think I'm going to try to pronounce that word on a live stream? Simultaneously receive 2 bonuses from 1 spirit animal of their choice and 1 bonus from all 4 remaining. This sounds very interesting. So I'm looking forward to this, but it looks like we're going to have to wait. But at least we'll get a flavor of this, you know. Yeah, at least we'll get a flavor. It looks like there's some other things that that are just not ready yet. They're just not ready yet. Guys, I mean, they're not going to postpone launch, are they? I mean, based on the feedback out of the beta, right?
Druid receives boons by defeating enemies and completing activities, and they can take the...
Okay, anyone watching on YouTube? I have to read something to you that I just read in chat. And this is someone that played through the alpha or whatever, or have played the game. And I just want to read you a comment that came in chat. D4 kind of makes you have to party up though, unfortunately. Remember guys, we were playing and streaming Diablo Immortal. Diablo Immortal more than kinda makes you have to party up and play. More than kinda. And I said, and I made a video. I said, Diablo Immortal is more like Diablo 4 than Diablo 3 is like Diablo 4. because there's more, they want more you to group up. Diablo Immortal is a lot about that. And so that's kind of like, and I need to see how much that exactly. Diablo 3 is nothing like 4. That's why I didn't play Diablo 3. I played Diablo Immortal instead. I'm like, I bet there's a lot of commonality here to Diablo 4. Forget about the pay to win stuff for now. So someone like this is like, we're going to explore that during the beta. The question is, how soloable is this game? That's a huge question. We gotta find out about that. You know? Yeah, they're not. Yeah, they shouldn't. They're not going to postpone. They got 5,000 people working on the game or whatever. Yeah, we know about world bosses. That's a group event. Higher level dungeons, you need more players to start it. So you actually have a requirement on higher level dungeons. So I've been trying to talk about this. I'm like, guys, they have open world. You see other players. They have events. They have world bosses. And I don't even know about Diablo 4. I'm telling you about what they talked about. I went and started playing Diablo Immortal, and I'm like, I'll bet you they're taking a bunch of stuff from Immortal, and that's going to get incorporated into Diablo 4. What kind of person are you? You know, and I mean, how punitive is it if you don't want to participate in group activities? How punitive is it? I talked about this before. What if you don't do world bosses? What does that mean? What do you lose? Higher level dungeons are going to require groups? There's a lot of stuff in Diablo Immortal you're not touching without a group. Diablo 4 is going to have those MMO elements. And I've been talking about it. That's why when I decided, you had all these big streamers, just all the big streamers. We know when the beta is for Diablo 4. Oh, let's all go stream Diablo 3 to prepare to get our vibe on for it. I'm like, no, I ain't doing that. I'm not doing that. I'm like, you know what? Let me try out Diablo Immortal. It's newer. I think Diablo Immortal is more like it. Did you hear, guys, someone in chat, Galorix, who plays... Guys, I was frickin' right after all, wasn't I? I was right after all. He just said Diablo Immortal was an early release
Welcome
in
to
his opinion for Diablo 4.
Radio.
All the big streamers, I'm gonna go Diablo 3. I'm like, no, I ain't doing that. The game's freaking 90 years old. I started playing Diablo Immortal in less than 2 hours. I'm like, I swear to God, this is what Diablo 4 is going to be like. Minus the pay-to-win stuff. Minus the pay-to-win. Prices are low, buy. Prices are high, sell. Yeah, I think, and we got someone here in the channel that actually has played this, we are used to, and Jan is saying it too, we are used to playing solo and just going through everything. Now, I know on Diablo 3, to push those high paragons, people grouped up and you could just see them all munched together like a sandwich in the high level rifts. And, freaking gag me with a spoon watching that. But keep it, guys, get ready. Thank you, Onage Galorx, for the follow. Guys, get ready. This is what I've been trying to talk about and why I've been playing and streaming Diablo Immortal, a game that is dead on Twitch. No one wants to talk about.
Hey now.
Because the big content creator said it's trash. And I'm like, no, I guarantee you there's going to be stuff in here that's carrying over. And there's some great progression systems in Diablo Immortal. There is. There's some really good stuff in Immortal. And you can go free to play. You don't have to spend money. But I started playing that. I'm like, oh, freaking, I bet you Diablo 4 is going to be like this on some aspects. And here we got people in chat that have played Diablo 4. Thank you guys for being here. And you're confirming you get ready. You're a solo Jimmy. Get ready to be. There's a little bit of MMO in here, right? At 9 a.m. the preload should be up already. You can preload. I'll do it later today, off of your launcher or whatever. I'll preload later. Preload is starting. Preload started. Preload starts here. It's right off the presses, guys, in real time. How's it going, COD? So I'm telling you guys. You know, we're going to continue with the Druid, and we're going to lose some stuff on the Druid here. But get ready for a game that is much more social. Much more social. Okay? This isn't PoE where you're just going to do everything on your own. It's not going to be like that. Now, my question is, what do you get? What are you losing? If I don't do world bosses, what am I losing? Well, someone already said high-level endgame dungeons. You are not going alone. You are going. I don't know if it's either required or you're just not going to get through it alone. Get ready now on Diablo Immortal. When you go into a dungeon, it has a party finder. It has a party finder for you to pug if you don't have a group of friends to play with. And I fully expect that same kind of system to be in Diablo 4 without even knowing. I expect there to be a party finder as when you're going into the dungeon. I just expect it. Because why not borrow this stuff from Diablo Immortal? I just assume that's what they're going to do. But everyone wants to go play Diablo 3, you know? go play Diablo 3 with your 10,000 viewers. I mean, I don't care. You know, I want to, I'm telling you, it ain't gonna be nothing like Diablo 4. Nothing, you know. Freaking Quinn and all these guys from PoE playing Diablo 3, you know, getting ready for Diablo 4, guys. Just give me your money, you know. There ain't nothing like it. Okay, guys, we're gonna continue on here. Just go, you know, I have my soapbox moments, so we're just gonna go through there. Pre-download, yeah, pre-download is up for everyone, right? Yeah, everything's, I mean, I got the Battle.net PC launcher. You just do an install, and you only have to do it once. You don't have to do it, again after this weekend. All right? Yeah, restart your launcher. Yeah, I'll pre-download on mine later. Good. Thanks, guys. Absolutely. Okay, let's continue on, and then we'll continue with commentary as needed. Thanks, guys.
These boons and unlock them at certain spirit animals for a variety of different passives, through animals like the deer, eagle, wolf, and snake, to empower themselves as they level up.
We won't be able to use this.
The Druid's basic skills are going to be primarily used as a filler, as well as a way to generate spirit. These skills are Earth Spike, Shred, Storm Strike, Wind Shear, and Maul. You will more than likely select one of these depending on the type of Druid and playstyle you are going to be playing. Moving on to the core skills, where they cost spirit, and like basic skills, you're most likely going to select the corresponding one to your build type. There are 3 different types of core skills that you can use, and these are Pulverize, where you shapeshift into a werebear and slam the ground, dealing damage to nearby enemies; Landslide, where you crush enemies between 3 pillars of earth, dealing damage; and Tornado, where you conjure a vortex that moves outward slowly and curves in a random direction, dealing damage every second. You start to notice that there is a trend of damage selection as you play the Druid, whether it be more focused on melee, ranged combat, or a bit of both. Moving on to some defensive skills of the Druid, they have Cyclone Armor, which is a passive effect that powerful winds protect you, granting range damage reduction, and also, when an enemy in melee range hits you, there is a chance for the winds to knock them backward. Next up, you have Earthen Bulwark, where rocks surround you for 3 seconds, making you unstoppable and absorbing damage, and upon expiration, the rocks shatter, dealing damage to nearby enemies. After that, you have Trample, where you rush forward as a werebear, dealing damage and stunning enemies for 1.6 seconds, which is also great for some more mobility as well. You have Debilitating Roar, where you shapeshift into a werebear and bellow with ferocity, reducing the attack speed of nearby enemies by 22% for 5 seconds.
Oh.
In our last defensive skill, you have Ravenous Bite, where you shapeshift into a werewolf and tear an enemy's flesh, dealing damage and healing you for a flat amount. Moving on to our next set of skills, Companion skills, which are one of the Druid's unique skills.
Did he just say companion skills? Hello? The servers are going to be probably pretty bad. Are you guys able to download? I think we'll be okay. I think open beta is going to be probably crazy. I think they're prepared this time for a lot of people playing. Yeah, and it is kind of a stress test too. They're using us as much as we are using them. 80 megabits per second. Well, the whole frickin' world, right? Ander is trying to download the game right now. 15%, okay, yeah. I mean, that's why I'm just going to wait till later, you know.
And what we know so far are wolves. Summon 2 wolves that are under your direct control that are...
I get to have some critters with me. So good. I know the Druid's not going to give you everything you need because we won't be able to get far enough to use those other things. But I think I'll probably be starting a Druid, I think. That's what I'm thinking already.
Passively just out with you during combat. Next up, you have Ravens, where it has 2 effects. One of them is a passive effect, where the Ravens fly above you, attacking nearby enemies passively. But you could also activate the spell to target a certain area for heavy damage for 6 seconds and making the enemies vulnerable. Last up, you have Vine Creeper, where it has 2 effects as well. A Vine Creeper periodically emerges from the ground and poisons a nearby target enemy for damage over time. But if you activate it, vines strangle enemies in a targeted area, poisoning them for damage over 6 seconds and stunning them for 2. Moving on to our next set of skills is going to be the Mastery skills. The Druid Mastery skills are going to be some nice, hard-hitting AoE abilities that help you control the battlefield in certain areas. These skills are Hurricane, where you form a hurricane around you that deals damage to nearby enemies over 8 seconds. You have Boulder, which you unearth a large rolling boulder that knocks back enemies and crushes them, dealing damage with each hit. And it also has an additional 15% chance to deal a crushing blow. And everyone's favorite, we have the Ultimate skills. And these are extremely powerful. Starting off, you have Cataclysm. A massive storm follows you around for 10 seconds, summoning tornadoes and knocking back enemies with lightning strikes for severe damage overall. Next up, you have Grizzly Rage, where you shapeshift into a werebear for 5 seconds, and you're granted new werebear abilities and skills, and you generate your spirit 28% faster. You are also unstoppable while Grizzly Rage is active as well. Lastly, you have Petrify, where you petrify all nearby enemies, stunning them for 5 seconds, but damage breaks this effect, and it also deals additional damage as well. I gotta say, in my opinion, the Druid has the most versatile skill kit in the entire game, with having access to really all forms of damage types and heavy build variety. Don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, we go over this class with incredible depth in our live stream deep dive, as well as it having its own in-depth personalized videos displaying additional features. So if you're interested, don't forget to check these out. The Druid, no matter your build, has tons of CC and low...
Massive AoE. Massive AoE. Solo potential 4-5. Defensive 3-5. Group compatibility 5-5. There was some stuff in there for whatever it was. Buffs, debuffs. Build variety 5-5. So this one, along with the Necromancer, you know, a lot of variety. Looks like, and then this one here, it looks like you're doing some, like, you know, you got lightning and all this kind of stuff. PvP. Okay, let's listen what he has to say about it. Yeah, for PvE.
Loads of AoE damage that honestly just seems endless, so they can perform well on their own for solo play. You have incredible passive damage mitigation as well as fortifies, but really lack powerful defensives to get you out of super scary situations. The Druid class provides the most amount of debuffs, buffs, stuns, and immobilizes when combined together, more than any other class in the game, making it obvious that they are key in any group they are in. They also have incredible amount of build variety with build options into Werebear, Werewolf, Caster DPS, Utility, Debuffer, Hybrid builds, to really build any type of character that you could possibly need. They do lack a nice amount of mobility though, as well as severe on-demand burst unless you're a caster catered with a specific build, so I am worried about their PvP potential overall. To wrap it up, ladies and gentlemen, if you love a class with huge versatility and incredible class fantasy, I mean, there would be no better option than the Druid at this point. Having the ability to be a hybrid between melee and range DPS, bring more support and utility, it's really just a jack of all trades. A quick summary is that a Druid deals physical, lightning, and poison damage with their attacks. Spirit is their primary resource, and they have incredibly powerful abilities overall, but most of them have longer cooldowns, so proper usage is vital. Crushing Blows is the unique class mechanic, which makes you a vital party member for really almost any group comp. And lastly, the Druid is incredibly fun to play, and skills and abilities feel very impactful. Now you know just about everything that we have been shown so far about the Druid, and there's really only one question left to answer.
Is it for you?
Is it for you? let us know in the comment section below, as we would love to talk with you all. I want to thank you all so much for watching this video, and until the very end, my name's Sky from the comments. They do.
Yeah, so for group compatibility, Druid, Barbarian, I guess, and so, and now we got pretty much confirmation that group play, and we're not just talking about world bosses. Group play is going to be it's going to be a factor. Definitely going to be a factor. The Barbarian, I don't know. Maybe Druid then Barbarian for me. I always wanted to play like, Sorcs, but I'm just not very good at them. I just don't have the patience or whatever it is. And the Necromancer, though, look at the solo potential for Necromancer, 5/5. Now, today we're just talking about classes. I'm thinking I'll look for some more information about, like, if there's a good videos on there's the other systems in the game beyond just classes. Other systems. If I do find them, we'll do another stream tomorrow to focus on those. But I did bounce my stream today. We're going to get this up to YouTube. This thing about this class thing, I'll give this guy full credit. We're not done yet here today. Full credit, the Comeback Kids. You got some YouTubers that got, hundreds of thousands of subs. This guy's got 25,000. Or guys or whatever, and this is a great video. Just a really good video. Really good video. Yeah, maybe it would be. I think you could play any class. You know what I think, Jan and others? I think you can play any class. And the thing that you have to wrap your arms around, though, is be prepared to play with other people. Pick any class you want and play the class you like, but don't think you're going to go through this game alone. Totally alone. Through the life cycle of the game. So play any class you want, pick any class you want, and just be ready for group play. You're going to be involved in group play, instead of just soloing through everything. That is the conclusion I came to while playing Diablo Immortal, even though I didn't know, and then it's even more a conclusion I've come to today. So be prepared for that. Now, I don't know if the game is going to have clans, guilds. I don't know if it's you party with your friends, or there's a party finder. I don't know how all of that's going to work. But it would be, of course, we would want some kind of system where we could build a, recruit. Yeah, D4 should have guilds. We should need to recruit people. And then for me, of course, the problem is finding people to play when I play. Yeah, there'll be clans. And in Diablo Immortal, we have something called war bands, which was kind of a loose association of people. And there's huge benefits for that group that you play with. They did it, I thought, really good. And COD was going pretty deep into that, and it looked really good. But, this is going to be like, and I need to find people, like I play during early morning hours of Pacific time zone. So, I don't know who I'm going to be playing with. So, some of my group play may take place later in the day. I don't know. But if they do allow for guilds, I think Moonraven will be all over it. We'll be all over it. So we got to get people together so we can play. We're going to have to play together. And I'd rather play with people I know than pugging, of course. But I think the thing is, I don't think mechanics are going to be huge. I don't think so. But we just need numbers. I just think we're going to need numbers is all it's going to be, as opposed to some dungeon with a bunch of mechanics, But what do I know? I'm not sure. We don't want this turning into a pure MMO. I don't think anyone does. Starfield waiting. What is Starfield? Starfield waiting room. Yeah. D4 until Starfield. Yeah. Warbands. The guys, we called it. Diablo Immortal. If you want, like, Diablo Immortal is more Diablo 4 than Diablo 3 is Diablo 4. It took me, like, not long to figure that out. Once I started playing Diablo Immortal. You come up to an instance, it brings up a screen. You can go in alone, find parties. You can put embellishments in, You can tag it to make the mobs harder. I mean, isn't that, I'm like, this stuff has got to be coming over to Diablo 4 in some way, shape, or form. It's freaking Diablo 3. Everyone's freaking playing Diablo 3. This is like I'm watching someone's video that was already playing in, this is like alpha or something. No one is playing this game right now. Any video you see is from content creators that was recording this stuff when they were playing in alpha. That's what I believe. And they were probably released from NDA so that they could start putting these videos out. That's how it, no one's playing right now, and no one's playing until Friday. Satisfactory until Satisfactory. So, I mean, we'll be going this game. We got Moonraven. We got Build a Community and like-minded people who play at the same time, at least, or, kind of, for me at least. And we'll see how it goes. I mean, look how dark it is. I mean, it is a darker palette. The game, I mean, look at this. And there's no Crusader, right? There's no Monk. And I assume those will be classes we'll be paying for in the future. So, but Friday is just the beginning, and we'll see how it goes. I've already purchased the game. They will be fully supporting this game with content forever, unlike what they did with Diablo 3. They kind of left it for dead for a while. Yeah, it's dark. That's right. That's what Diablo is. Anything else here to cover today? Anyone on YouTube, again, if you've made it this far, thank you. Again, thank you, Comeback Kids. This is the best video I found about the classes. No doubt about it. It's 32 minutes long. It's definitely was worth for me to watch. Like I said, if I find other videos on other systems in the game, we'll go over that on the next stream before Friday. So we'll see how that goes. Thanks, Brutal. Appreciate it. Yeah, everyone's excited. Everyone's been waiting for years for this. Okay, I'm glad to hear that, because I watched this. I started watching this like yesterday or the day before, and I'm like, wait a minute, this is what I've been looking for. This video right here, and I'm like, I don't think anyone's going to come up with anything. But look at the clips. So he's clipping out all these images and putting it up on the screen. And I did that before with New World. It's a lot of work, and he even shaded it too. He even put a shade on it to give it a shading underneath. It is a lot of work to put this video together. The creation of this video probably started a long time ago. There's a lot that went into this video. This guy deserves a lot more views, I think, than what he has gotten. It's doing good, but this deserves a lot more. This is a really good video. To clip out all those little pictures, probably started doing that a long time ago. Clipping out, and then you lay them in on the video editor. Very good stuff. Yeah, okay, yeah, what I'll do today, I'm going to go ahead and download the game. And we got some new people coming into the channel today. How's it going, Elkin? Thanks, you guys, for coming in. We'll be playing this game. We'll be streaming this game. I'll try to make videos for this game. I'm not really huge on YouTube. Thank you for that. I'm more of a, I believe I'm perform my best in a live scenario, but I will try to make YouTube videos as necessary. We got plenty of time. We got the betas. We got 2 weekends. We got a lot of time to play this game. And then launch is not too far away. Launch is not too far away. And then we'll just do it all over again. We'll start and we'll just keep working it and progress and learn, progress and learn and progress. And I know there'll be new classes in the future, and I just wish the best for the game. We want a really good isometric ARPG to play. Personally, to tell you my honest opinion, PoE is a little bit too much for me. I do not want to play PoE. And Diablo 3 is a little bit just too old. And so it's really nice to get another game. I really hope that it does well. I'm not really a huge...
to
thank you,
WKALI Radio.
Corey Doppel for the follow. I'm actually not a huge isometric ARPG player. So I need something that I really just fits well for me. So hopefully I wish the best for it. And the good thing is they'll be fully supporting the game and take all our feedback in. So we want to make sure to get the feedback in during these periods. Today's Wednesday, tomorrow's Thursday. If everything goes okay, I plan on streaming tomorrow. I think we'll go ahead and probably stream from the Diablo category. We'll see what other videos I could find that are acceptable to me, that talks about other systems in the game, if they in fact exist. And then we'll go over that. Kind of a deep dive-ish thing on that. Again, thanks Comeback Kids, great video. And but then after Thursday comes Friday, 9 a.m. local time for me. We'll get in a little bit early, and then we'll just get prepped for starting to go. I'll probably start a Druid. I'll just start a Druid, and then we'll just make different classes, and I'm just going to make the assumption that when you play a class in this game, I assume that the, like you have global storage and all that kind of stuff. That's where Diablo Immortal really gets hurt. Is Diablo Immortal, there's no global storage. You can't work your alts for the good of your entire account in Diablo Immortal. But I'm just going to assume that's not going to be the case in Diablo 4. I just make that assumption. So we'll be running multiple classes to serve the good of the whole. I think what I said earlier, play stuff that you like and do what you like. And group play is going to be a function of numbers. Not, we need 2 supports for this, and we need a healer for this and a tank for this. I don't think it's going to be like that. I think you just need numbers. So we don't have to worry about nitpicking on what classes to bring with us in a particular dungeon. I think you just need numbers. So I think it's just going to be play the class you like. So that concludes today's class look. And I thank you guys for coming in. Thank you guys on YouTube for watching. And hopefully I'll find something for tomorrow that we can focus on outside of the classes. Okay, guys? Thank you guys. Thanks, YouTube. Thanks, Twitch. Thank you guys. I appreciate it. Thanks, Hideo, for coming in and sticking through the whole stream. Thank you guys, and hope to see you again. And hey, now, see you guys on the next streams, okay? And any new people coming in, thanks. We really, we have a lot of fun. We talk about the game. We have a lot of life experiences we share, but we have a good time on the stream, and some of you that came into the stream, I hope to see you again in the future. Thanks for your help as well. Thanks for your help as well in chat. This is an extremely interactive stream. It is talk, 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 play, talk, play, talk, play, talk. Thank you guys for coming in. Have a great day. Thank you guys. Thanks, Gail, Lord. Thanks to the new guys coming in. Thank you, thank you, thank you. See you guys next time.